Hello, everyone, and welcome to a brand new episode of 60 by 60. A lot has happened since the last update. I actually intended to show you a couple of in progress videos up to now, but quite frankly, I'm glad if I can spend 1 or 2 hours playing Planet Coaster. And the last thing you really want to do then is to sort of pause construction and tape a video and then go into editing and then release it, and you kind of get stuck in, planning what the right time would be to record that video and to make sure that your videos are in sync with your building progress. So, as this is a game, a hobby, and not something that I need to earn my livelihood with, the updates are just going to be infrequent and, quite frankly, whenever I feel like it. And maybe that's my age coming through of just saying, I just want to have fun with this. And if I can bring some smiles to those of you, couple of you watching my videos, then hey, that's an added bonus. So what's in store? Well, the Greek area, or Little Greece, or whatever you want to call it, is done. It also happens to be the sort of the entrance plaza area, if you want. So just as a reminder, it is a park set somewhere in the Alps, or at least an alpine region. Then it's a 60 by 60, so 60 by 60 squares kind of plot that I then turned into a bit of a circular thing. So the whole road around it, you could consider it a service road in the future, only accessible to employees, logistics, infrastructure, whatnot. And this the sort of half circular parking lot is where a modest amount of visitors can park their vehicles. They then get to the entrance plaza, or sort of the ticket plaza, if you want. They go through the gates, showing the flags of the 6 nations that will be represented in this park, which is all the way on the left, Egypt, Greece, that's the one finished and the one we're going over today, Mexico, Japan, the United Kingdom, and last but not least, India. They're not really going to be in this order, by the way. As you can see, I started with Greece, and I'm really itching to get my hands on the UK for the next land. And probably after that it's going to be Egypt. So again, it's just a bit of a random order. Whatever really grabs my fancy, and that's what I want to be working on then. If you haven't seen it already, I'll tag it to the end of this video, but I've done a little showcase showing the Greek area. And so in this update, we're just kind of going over some of the details, and I guess it's just a way to discuss the work that's done, and maybe looking ahead on what I have in store for the British area for now, knowing myself that can all be swiped off the table tomorrow if somehow I dream of an entire different strategy or an entire different layout. We'll see where it takes me. Alright, so right behind the gates, we've got, the normal entrance. You buy tickets on the right and on the left. There's, of course, this is 2023. There's, of course, 2 gates for those in a wheelchair or for those needing a little more space. Then there are 4 times 2, regular entrance gates. And then there are 2 times 2 exit gates flanking the entrances on both sides. So I'd say it's a, pretty easy and manageable sort of entrance gate if you want. And that directly takes you into Greece. You can already see it from outside, which is what I really like. It just takes you straight into a different world. And right here, you enter Greece. A lot of these buildings and alleys and little balconies are actually taken from pictures that I made myself when I was on Paros in September last year. God, it's already been a year. I was on Paros, and after that I was on... in my opinion, even more beautiful island of Andros. But Paros is the one next to Naxos, and it has these beautiful shopping streets filled with, lots of colorful plants and foliage. Like, sort of trying to emulate that And naturally, the national color scheme of white and lots of different shades of blue. So I just went with that. You could also see some of that in Santorini. So I guess you could say this is more of a representation of Greek island cliches than mainland Greece. But let's be honest here, how many of you think of mainland Greece apart from Athens when you think of Greece? So behind these humongous doors are the restrooms. I still need to figure out a way how to make that look a little better. But given that the restrooms are just enormous in typical Planet Coaster skill, I just went with these humongous doors. I don't know, maybe I'll update it. Let's see. Well, we got a little sort of line head fountain here. I used one of these colored, what do you call them? Colored plates, colored panes to emulate a bit of water there. A bit of a fountain feeling. This is, of course, the pieces right in front, the curved pieces, I think are the snake from the Adventure DLC. You know, that DLC keeps surprising me. That it's just so versatile, and you can use it for so many different things. What do we have here? A little area to sit. Of course, this is only eye candy, given that these seats will not be functional. And then there's a lovely gate, archway if you want. You'll find a lot of these typical sort of stairways up to higher levels that you find all over and all across Paros. Then there's a food court plaza right here, underneath what I like to imagine to be sort of gigantic olive trees. Yeah, it's just simple, but it works, you know, especially if you plunk down a couple of mustard and ketchup tubes. It just well, let's see what it looks like when people are actually occupying those tables. I still wish we'd had better seats and tables, but maybe that's something if it ever happens for Planet Coaster 2. I'm skeptic on that one. I know a lot of you think or are sure that it's going to happen. I don't know, but here's hoping. So it's a lovely area with a typical Dutchy cliché here, with lanterns hanging from the trees. I always like that. It just feels so free and different, you know. This is what I like to imagine to be a staff-only delivery entrance that would sort of lead you back into a maze of little corridors, given that it is actually one gigantic blob of a building in the center. But let's finish this little street. So, you know, you walk away and there's a little head store, and right after that it should lead you into the central roundabout of the park, with the the white weenie, the tower, the landmark, whatever you want to call it, that's going to lend itself so very well for projections and fireworks and water displays and what have you not. But we're not done yet. Let's just go back to the centers, because we just took a right, but you can also take a left. These are supposed to feel or emulate umbrellas. You know, you see them in some of the shopping streets in Portugal, in Greece. I think I've also spotted it in, I think it was Milan. Was it Milan or was it Verona? Either way, it's a thing. It's a thing. And, well, this is the best I can do. Couldn't really find any cute little umbrellas. So, well, we'll just have to work with these discs. But it looks nice, doesn't it? It looks festive, colorful. And just another little street that you go through. I imagine that this would lend itself for so many Instagram opportunities. And, well, that's where we're at. This is a windmill truly modeled after one that I saw on Paros. It's a famous one, actually. So for those of you who've been on that island, you'll recognize it instantly. There's a beautiful cocktail bar at the foot of that windmill, and it sort of sits on its own little peninsula. And you know, watching the sun go down with the beautiful Adriatic Sea in front of you was magnificent. So obviously, it deserved a little spot in my park. And right behind it is yet another little food court, a few more shops. It's extremely repetitive, and you'll find that I actually only have about 6 or 7 different types of buildings used for all of the 39 facades. But quite frankly, I couldn't be bothered with doing more than that. And I think it works out just fine. And again, once you leave, then, whoop, there's the roundabout. So, going to do a bit of gardening there, and we'll just see where it takes us. Well, every land unlike my, and this is for the older viewers here, unlike my Seven Seas project that I did about 3 to 4 years ago, all of the lands are going to have at least one ride. Was a bit tough. Was I going to do a boats ride for Greece, going with a bit of a Poseidon theme or something? Was I going to go with a Mount Olympus and Zeus temple? I just really couldn't figure it out. I don't have that much space. So instead I just went with a typical Medusa's revenge. And yeah, it's hard to keep the footprint small. As you can see, it's still gigantic, but I kept it as small as I could. I think it turned out lovely. On the right is where you queue, on the left is where you leave. And then there's a bit of, there's a bit of fire and water and smoke and what have you not going on as you're being tortured on this ride. I timed it all as best as I could, and I think it's a lot of fun in the end. It's a lovely ride. Yeah, there we go. So it's just, yeah. Let's just imagine that this is going to be a great success. Right in the back is Medusa herself. Look at her. That's one ugly Medusa. And in true Dutchy style, I'm trying to keep this as bare as I can. Probably there's going to be a whole different facade on the back, because this is going to double for the England, or I should say, the UK part. So that's kind of where I am right now. It's not too big of an area. At the same time, it's diverse enough to kind of make you feel like you can. I could imagine when I visit this land that I'll probably try to do a full loop, right? I'd start know myself. I'd start going to the left first, and then end up on the path that takes me back to the entrance plaza. Yeah, so there's little details there that I always, quick and dirty. A bit of ventilation, a couple of tubes there, a bit of solar paneling, and it just makes the roofs look more industrial and more backstage, and quite frankly, more ugly, and that makes it more realistic. So I tried to emulate that for every roof, and other than that, I kept it simple. I mean, it's all about selling the illusion, and whatever you can see from ground level is definitely not the same as what you could see from above. Look at any well-themed amusement park, look at any Disneyland, and you'll find that it's the same hot mess from above. So, yeah, I guess it does the job, and I feel it kind of sells the feeling of, hey, I'm in Greece, So that is the area. And without further ado, you know what? Let me just, as I promised, this is going to be the UK area. I have no idea if this is going to be the layout that I'll stick with. But I could see this being, becoming something interesting. You would kind of start with a nice curvy road filled with little British shops. And then you'd end up in some sort of a plaza. I'm not sure yet, to be honest. I need to have enough space in the back so that whatever palace or castle that I plan to put here is going to provide with a bit of a realistic station, entrance and queuing area for the Little Black Caps ride. Then right here on the overpass, that's where I plan to do London Tower Bridge. Now I always keep saying London Bridge, but London Bridge is actually right, leading you up to Westminster, and it's quite an unsightly concrete bridge these days. But Tower Bridge is going to be there, which makes no sense at all because it's obviously not a river going underneath. But yeah, we'll see. Or maybe I scratch it all together and I do a completely different layout, but then where would that leave me with a ride? The thing is, the teacups ride is ginormous and it would never work, and I feel like a carousel just wouldn't do the trick for the UK. So, if you have any suggestions for a better ride, be it on track or a flat ride, then by all means, please do leave your suggestion in the comments. I hope to see you soon. It'll probably be a couple of weeks from now. So have lots of fun and see you soon. Bye bye.